What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is December 2nd of 2020. Well, folks, I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And in today's video, we've got a lot to discuss, from taking a look at Bitcoin ranging from $18,000 to $20,000. I'm going to give my thoughts as to what I think it's going to do over the next few weeks. And along with that as well, taking a look at altcoin markets, which have been getting a lot of momentum, holding a lot of strength, and look like they might be kicking up for another run-up in December. And last but not least, taking a look at some of the major fundamental developments in the cryptocurrency space that you need to know about, as well as doing a sponsored review of Stacks, which is aiming to bring about DeFi to Bitcoin. So we've got a lot of things to discuss. Let's go ahead and dive straight into it, guys. Starting off here, taking a look over the last 24 hours here for the market, we can see that the vast majority of cryptocurrencies are in red territory right now, following Bitcoin being down a bit. And as we've been seeing kind of increased volatility in the market, there really aren't too many players that are faring well. Over the last 7 days, though, we can see a very clear trend here across the board here, where DeFi has started to steal the stage here with a lot of major plays. So let's go ahead and we'll dive straight into the analysis here, guys. Taking a look here at Bitcoin on TradingView, I want to emphasize something very clear, and it's something we talked about on our live stream the other day, just actually about less than 2 days ago on November. At the end of the month, we were talking a little bit about how Bitcoin, as we were retesting up towards this range, as on many exchanges we even set new all-time highs, which was pretty exciting to see. How I really don't believe we're going to be breaking above that 20K level in any substantial manner anytime soon this year. And again, I've been kind of sticking to my guns on this call that I think we're really going to, per se, break above 20K in a substantial way and kick off the next cycle, going from somewhere around 20K up to 100K or 200K, one of those new parabolic highs in Bitcoin. I don't think that we're going to start that process until the new year, most likely in January in this case. Now, the reason I say that, as much as I know people would probably be saying, Nick, you're crazy to think that, you're keeping way too conservative, the momentum is here. I don't doubt that for a second, guys. We've clearly got momentum in the market. The thing is, though, if we take a look here, taking a look at the 4-hour, we can see, broadly speaking, that we've had a shift in trend. And I'll go ahead and switch to my chart here with some of the drawings that I have. Broadly speaking, we were, again, in this case, setting in these higher lows here, which we've continued to do, and also higher relative highs. We were continuously doing that here all the way back throughout October to November. You can see here, we're either retesting a similar level or testing in new highs. Well, now, as we started to get towards this range, you're going to get some profit taking. You're going to see some sell side pressure. You can be taking a look at any of the major analytics on chain, whether it's whales who are holding a large portion, or, for example, retail investors who bought at 20K last time around, or 18, 19K, and are trying to get their money back in this case and don't really care for crypto. Well, that tends to cause some sell side pressure. And this is exactly what happened last time for a 3 to 4 month period back during the last cycle. So I'm actually remaining relatively optimistic here that as we've come up here to really test it at the end of the month in November, that in early January we could see a potential actual start to that next cycle. I have confidence that it's going to be a bit different this time around in the sense of the momentum, where I think we can get above that level, start that next cycle, and with that have a longer period of time, a much longer period of time on the actual cycle, going from 20K to our new parabolic high, because we're talking about market to scale, a much larger market cap that needs to be achieved. But just taking a look here again, price is telling us this, guys. We're getting a lot more sell-off activity than what we saw beforehand. We had our biggest sell-off here since all the way back in September, at the end of the month of November. And again, as we test up towards this range, we're steering away here from this line here where we're setting new highs. They're starting to come in lower. And again, here, we're not testing towards that big even level of 20K just yet on the actual spot exchanges. And each time we get a bump up here, it's starting to fade over here. Now, again, it's not me being bearish on Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin as an asset. I just think that it's going to consolidate sideways. And with that, it's going to give an opportunity for liquidity to circulate into the altcoin market. Folks, again, I can't emphasize it enough. We just wrote about it in our new Dash report, so if you guys are interested in learning about how to kind of prepare for it, I recommend you guys check it out. But broadly speaking, we have been hitting on this topic of the altcoin train since as far back as September of 2019. Since we saw the trend reversal on the SMS indicator, which is our custom indicator that we built. One of my community members, actually from the Dash report, Sandeep, helped me and really went about building an indicator that can help you on those longer term timeframes to spot trend reversals using the MACD and the RSI. Again, I don't like these indicators much, but that alone with the general actual market dominance gave us a signal that it was time to look into altcoins. And it's been paying off swimmingly well ever since then. However, don't feel like you're too late to the game, guys, because quite frankly, after we've set this new bottom here back in mid-November, we've been holding up substantially well ever since we had this solid week of price action going in towards the close or the later portion of November. We've been able to hold the vast majority of the gains and now are building into a wedge here. And I have sheer confidence here, a lot of confidence that this is going to actually pick up and break out here in the short term. Taking a look at some of the larger plays, we can get this signal of confidence. We have some of the larger caps having some major news, like Ethereum with the launch of ETH 2.0. Not only are the technicals looking very similar here, if you're looking at the daily time frame, or if you take a look at the hourly here, you can see a very similar kind of wedge in price, the higher lows, the lower highs, coiling in for that big moment. But we just had the launch of ETH 2.0. And again, what I want to talk about here is not only just the launch here of the Beacon chain, which is the first actual step towards ETH 2.0. It doesn't really bring much benefits, but it's starting the process and it's giving us a guideline for when we can expect these next phases. We can see here too as well the game plan that explains how we're actually going to go about scaling the Ethereum network to make sure that it maintains its dominance in the DeFi space. And I think that this is a completely fine and strong leadership projection here for Ethereum, with a mixture of roll-ups and optimism to scale layer 1 in the short term to keep gas costs low on dexes like Uniswap, which have been eating up the network and driving GUI prices or gas prices to new highs. And now we're going to see a slow but steady process over the next few years where, with optimism, all these things, it buys us enough time to get towards the phases of ETH 2.0 where we'll actually get scalable benefits. So this is, again, a great chart you guys should turn to. But speaking about DeFi here, DeFi got a nice bounce up here in this recent altcoin boom that we had back here throughout November. We not only kicked back up here against Bitcoin for altcoins. This is a major altcoin index divided by Bitcoin. That's a perpetual index here for DeFi. And we can see here that we're far away here from, of course, the highs back in late August to early September. However, we are starting to set in those higher lows and higher highs. It's a matter here of getting above this point here, making this range support, and kicking off in that next cycle. I'm very excited for this. Again, DeFi has been a big topic of mine. And again, we've been hitting on a lot of key plays, whether it be here on the channel or in the Dash report where we do a lot of detailed analysis. Take a look at the oracles here, guys. Oracles going, well, this is a custom oracle index that we did between RLC, Link, and Band. The three of these coming together to create a beautiful 2/3 correction from their parabolic highs back during August. Coming down and resting on that midway support here in the cycle before the parabolic euphoric cycle came in. This is a beautiful chart across the board of the market. This is exactly what we want to see. And we have multiple retests here. Now we're going to start getting to the point where all we have to do is start setting in those higher lows and higher highs. We already kind of sort of did this, but I'm talking about a good substantial higher low and a substantial higher high from this range. But again, it's looking great here. A lot of value to be found in the market. And along with that as well, we've had a lot of our key plays that we've talked about here, such as Ampleforth. Ampleforth has been booning very well over the last few weeks. In fact, if you want to compare it to Bitcoin here, and again, it's important to actually take the market cap of each of these assets, as Ampleforth can only really be measured by the performance of its market cap, not just its price. We can see here that we've more than doubled since we recommended it last month in the Dash report. It's fantastic to see how well this has grown here. And again, this is just one of many DeFi plays on the market that we should be watching. But again, there's a lot of ways here that we're staying on top of the market. We're making profit. We're whether you're just trying to increase your Bitcoin or generally just outpace Bitcoin in the market or diversify, we're making sure we're doing it in a smart way here on the Data Dash channel. Now, some of the fundamental developments going on here that are just continuing to spark the, oh my gosh, this is it moment here. Libra rushing to the market now with a rebranding called Diem, I think in this case. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, or Diem in this case. So we'll figure out how it's pronounced in this case, I guess, later down the line. But this is really interesting to see what Libra is doing here. because with this, they're focusing on simply launching a U.S. stablecoin in this case to get past the regulatory concerns that were coming about with U.S. regulators and possibly they basically put a memorandum in this case to basically freeze any development for Libra back about a year and a half ago. And now we're seeing where Libra's making quick adjustments. They've moved towards a much more simple ambition of generating a stable coin that they could use for remittances and money transfers across the world. And this alone is still going to be massive. And the reason I say this is not only because of Facebook's market scale and the sheer fact that they're launching this possibly in January, even with limited functionality. And just being able to send payments would be huge. But along with this, it's really going to bring about a challenge to networks like Ethereum and a lot of major plays due to the market scale that Facebook has with Libra, as well as its other corporate partners. It always gets mentioned as just a Facebook project, but there are other companies that are contributing. But above all, stablecoins. And actually, again, not to mention it too much and stuff, with the Dash report, we actually wrote about this, I think about 2 or 3 months ago. It's one of the articles that I wrote about, talking about the growth, the sheer growth in stable coins in DeFi. And you can just see here, we're taking a look at the monthly chart here for the overall market capitalization or total supply of stable coins. And they're currently over nearly almost $25 billion in stable coins. Most of this, in this case, 4/5 of it coming in the last few months since back in March. Interesting, during this period of time, when the Fed started printing liquidity like crazy, when we had this crazy shakeup in the markets, that a lot of that money, now that interest rates have gone down to nearly zero, are going into stable coins. I wonder where they're going to. Perhaps maybe, deposit protocols like Celsius or Compound, both of which we plug into on the Digifox wallet, which I recommend you guys should check out if you haven't already. But I think it's all a telltale sign here of what's going on in the market. We've got a lot of fundamental changes coming, not only to the traditional financial sector, but a lot of optimism coming into crypto, to stable coins, and also all of the new technological innovations that are going on in DeFi to get that yield, to generate that economic activity. Anyways, guys, I think there's so much exciting things going on. But that all being said, I'd love to not only hear what you think down below in the comments about all this, but I want to go ahead and dive into our sponsored review of Stacks. Alright everyone, so to kick things off, the sponsor for today's video is no other than Stacks 2.0. Now for those of you who haven't heard about the project yet, to put it simple, Stacks 2.0 is aiming to bring DeFi to Bitcoin, tapping into the hundreds of billions of dollars in liquidity on the Bitcoin blockchain and building about a platform for not only being able to earn on Bitcoin, but along with that as well, develop smart contracts and add a lot more value on top of the largest cryptocurrency network in existence. Now from the name, you might already notice, as well as the logo, that this is a project developed within the ecosystem of the Blockstack platform. Many of you might already know about the project. I've been following it for some time, and I'm really interested to see this pivot into the Bitcoin space, bringing about DeFi in a very serious way to the Bitcoin network. So I want to go ahead and talk about some of the details here so you can get a quick rundown on everything, and in the future we're going to be spending some time to talk about it. Now again, I recommend you guys go ahead and take a look at Blockstack as a platform, but diving in here more to the specifics here, there's a lot of key things that Stacks is bringing about in regards to actually making DeFi on Bitcoin possible, and probably many other applications as a whole. The first thing here that we need to go over is its new smart contract language. So it's important to understand that in bringing DeFi onto Bitcoin, Stacks in this case is building its own network or blockchain on top of the actual Bitcoin network. Think of it again as a layer on top of the Bitcoin network, making it all possible and providing a new language framework known as Clarity to actually develop these smart contracts. So a big thing here is that they're trying to right a lot of the wrongs of Ethereum. They're trying to create a language here that doesn't have a lot of the issues of solidity. Really, they've been working on this with Algorand for some time to basically build a kind of synonymous blockchain language that's going to be able to help people develop actionable contracts that are safe and secure on top of Bitcoin, which I think is really interesting. So if you guys are interested, you can read into the Clarity language, see some of the differences here comparative to some of the traditional systems in the space. But along with that as well, we've also got some other big things, such as the ability to earn Bitcoin. Now, as many of you know, when it comes to most staking coins or staking projects, you tend to stake a coin in this case, and then eventually once you've made your returns, you hope in this case that you can sell it for more in this case at the end. Well, what's really great about this is that for stacks, you actually have the ability to earn Bitcoin in this case by helping to create almost this kind of layer for DeFi or other types of applications on top of the Bitcoin blockchain. So again, there's a really interesting way that they go about doing this. They do this through a model known as proof of transfer, which is a modification of proof of burn. And it basically allows, in this case, users on the Stacks platform to be able to receive rewards from miners, in this case, the block rewards in this case, while at the same time using the same network security that Bitcoin benefits from. So again, I highly recommend in this case learning a lot about proof of transfer, in this case, understanding how it works as a consensus mechanism. This is a good kind of general rundown on it, but it's a really interesting concept overall that not only gives you this opportunity to get some of the rewards onto a secondary network and to holders of STX in this case, but along with that, bringing about a lot of value to the STX platform. But anyways, above all, guys, I have to say this is something that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. I think above all, as I've emphasized on the channel, anything that brings DeFi to Bitcoin is going to be capturing my interest. And Blockstack, being a project that's been around for some time with a great ecosystem and community, has definitely gotten me really excited. So read through the technical documentation, read through the articles and resources that are found on the stacks2.com website. I highly recommend you read into it. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this quick rundown, as well as the content we talked about in today's update, please consider liking the video, subscribing. If you haven't already, check out the links down below in the description, not only for stacks2.com, but along with that, with our newsletter as well as Digifox. So we've got a lot of things to discuss in future videos, guys. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.